In the world of swords and magic known as Earthclear, everything changed the day stats appeared, letting everyone see their level and abilities. We meet Kuji, who's chilling after cashing in the coins he earned from grinding monsters, when his peaceful day gets interrupted by the terrified screams of a man and his little son. They're being attacked by a level 3 slime, completely frozen in fear. Then, out of nowhere, a handful of coins shoots through the air at insane speed and absolutely nukes the slime in a single hit. Kuji hands them a few coins and casually explains that even a basic slime is worth around 100 bronze coins. The little boy sadly admits he'd never be able to kill one because monsters scare the hell out of him. Before Kuji walks away, the kid asks if he's some kind of hero. Without even turning around, Kuji opens his status window. The father and son are left completely speechless. Level 999. A long time ago, this island used to be called Japan. Now it's known as Hexaldria. Ever since monsters appeared, every person has been born with a specific class: warrior, priest, mage, thief, merchant, hunter, or sorcerer. A lucky few receive legendary classes like sage, hero, or king. But the most common, and by far the weakest, is the villager class. Most villagers never make it past level 10 and stand zero chance against monsters, so they usually end up working as farmers or innkeepers. Kuji, though, he's built different. Meanwhile, a desperate red-haired girl races toward an ancient cave in search of a legendary sword. At the same time, in the neutral city of Valman, Kuji strolls through the marketplace, checking out the merchants' stalls. Also wandering around town are a handsome blonde swordsman and a gorgeous busty girl, loudly declaring that they'll defeat the Demon King and save the world from the demon armies. Later, Kuji heads to the Public Security Guild to turn in the quests he completed that day. As his reward, he's handed 5 gold coins, instantly making everyone in the guild stare in disbelief. Anyone earning that much in a single day must have wiped out a ridiculous number of monsters. Before leaving, Kuji notices a flyer advertising a mysterious treasure chest for 10,000 gold coins. After checking his savings, he realizes he's still 4,520 gold short. He then browses the quest board and finds a 4-star mission that pays 1 gold coin for eliminating 30 blue devils inside the ancient cave. For the average adventurer, it's basically a death sentence. For Kuji? Just another easy farming run. Outside, the blonde warrior introduces himself as Rex and announces that he's recruiting companions to defeat the Demon King. Standing beside him is Kanazuki Karol Hexaldria, the 3rd daughter of King Simon and a powerful level 42 sage. Rex only wants people with insane potential. He turns down an 80th level priest because he's too old, then rejects another level 72 applicant because he believes he'll never become truly strong. Instead, he welcomes Tina Bills, a 16-year-old level 50 priestess, believing she has way more room to grow. After all, in his eyes, raw potential is way more based than experience. Not interested in the drama, Kuji heads straight for the ancient cave instead. Before long, he runs into a level 93 blue devil and casually one-shots it, earning 34 silver coins. Like it's nothing, he spends the rest of the afternoon wiping out every monster unlucky enough to cross his path. He only needs 15 more blue devils to finish the quest when he suddenly spots Rex and the 3 girls fighting their way through the cave. Kuji has zero interest in getting mixed up with their party, so he quietly stays out of their way. Since the princess's full name is way too long, everyone agrees to just call her Karul, while the purple-haired girl introduces herself as Parna. Rex then reveals that the quest itself isn't his real objective. He's actually searching for a hidden chamber known only to the royal family. By following ancient crests carved into the cave walls, he hopes to find a legendary holy sword said to be wieldable only by a level 90 hero. According to legend, not a single hero in history was ever able to draw it. The girls wonder why the royal family would hide such an insanely powerful weapon instead of using it to defeat the Demon King ages ago. Rex explains that the hero class is incredibly rare, and even having it doesn't guarantee victory. That's why the sword was sealed away until someone truly worthy appeared. He only knows about its existence because Carol, the kingdom's third princess, was personally entrusted with the secret by King Simon so she could help protect it. Meanwhile, the mysterious red-haired girl, her tiny horns hidden beneath her hood, keeps sprinting through the cave in obvious desperation. None of the Blue Devils attack her. They all completely ignore her as if she doesn't even exist. At the same time, more and more monsters keep pouring into the cave. Even Rex's party starts getting overwhelmed. Parna points out that coming this deep with only 4 adventurers was basically a suicide mission from the start. And to make matters worse, their priestess is almost completely out of mana and can barely keep healing everyone. After barely fighting their way through, the group finally reaches the hidden chamber. Standing there is the red-haired girl, right in front of the empty pedestal where the legendary sword was supposed to be. Rex immediately demands to know who she is. Carol senses an overwhelming amount of mana coming from the girl and suspects she might actually be a demon, which would explain why monsters suddenly started swarming the cave. The moment Rex realizes the holy sword is gone, he completely loses it. Without a second thought, he accuses the girl of stealing it. Together with his teammates, he launches a full-on attack, fully intending to kill her on the spot. Then, a shadow suddenly steps between them. Koji, using nothing but one hand, he effortlessly stops every single attack aimed at the girl, shielding her without even breaking a sweat. He glares at the group and calls them out for trying to kill a defenseless girl without a shred of proof. When they ask who the hell he is, Koji casually replies that he's just a random villager who happened to be passing through. Nobody buys it. When they demand to know how he blocked all of their attacks, he simply shrugs. To prove he isn't trolling, Koji opens his status window for everyone to see. Sure enough, his class really is villager. Koji quickly makes up a story, claiming the red-haired girl is actually his little sister and that the horns on her head are nothing more than hair accessories. Then he drops another bomb. He casually says he was the one who found the legendary sword years ago, but since he had no clue what it was worth, he ended up selling it to some random merchant. Rex absolutely loses his shit. To him, Koji basically stole one of the royal family's greatest treasures. Naturally, nobody believes a single word he's saying. Without another word, Koji walks over to the massive stone pedestal where the sword once rested and lifts the entire thing with one hand, like it weighs absolutely nothing. Then, for the first time, he reveals his actual status window. Level 999. The entire room goes dead silent. Everyone is completely stunned. Even Rex can't hide the look of pure humiliation on his face. Seeing someone that ridiculously overpowered, Carol immediately asks Koji to join their quest to defeat the Demon King. She argues that if he really sold the legendary sword, helping save the world would at least make up for it. Koji couldn't care less. He turns her down without hesitation. He explains that his only goals are making money, staying alive, and helping people when they're right in front of him. The Demon King has never personally done anything to him, so risking his life for glory sounds pretty damn pointless. As for becoming some legendary hero, yeah, he couldn't care less. He even tells Rex that his whole chosen hero saving the world speech comes off as arrogant as hell. Before leaving, Koji grabs the mysterious redhead by the hand and tells Rex one last thing. You and your party still don't understand how this world really works. With that, the two walk out of the cave together. Once they're finally outside, Koji figures it's time to go their separate ways. But before he can say goodbye, the girl suddenly looks him straight in the eyes. She quietly admits she's been searching for someone exactly like him for a very, very long time. Then, completely out of nowhere, she asks him to marry her. She explains that her father has been seriously ill for over a year, and she was terrified that if some hero claimed the sword, they'd end up killing him. That revelation catches Koji completely off guard when he realizes her father is none other than the Demon King himself. Instead of freaking out, Koji casually admits he's run into the Demon King a few times before and doesn't think killing him would fix anything. He believes the mana flowing from demons' horns naturally creates monsters that attack humans, causing both races to hate each other almost like they're hardwired to. Alice, however, says her biggest dream is to prove that humans and demons can actually live together in peace. Kuji thinks her plan to marry him to make that happen is pretty delulu and tells her the real problem isn't demons, it's the way the world itself works. That's also why he has zero interest in joining the hunt for the Demon King. Meanwhile, Rex can't stop thinking about how badly he got clowned by some random villager. Without the legendary sword, and with Kuji's words still stuck in his head, he realizes he'll have to become way stronger if he ever wants a shot at beating him. Alice keeps following Kuji and asks him for one more favor. She needs to buy a medicine called Spirit's Blessing to save her father, but she's short on money since the potion costs 10 gold coins. Even after she begs him to lend her the rest, Kuji points out that curing the Demon King won't stop humans from trying to kill him again later. Still, Alice refuses to give up. She says she doesn't hate humans, believes plenty of demons want peace too, and that her father always taught her to trust people like Kuji. In the end, Kuji gives in. He pulls out a special piece of cloth and wraps it around Alice's horns to hide them. The fabric is made from a bizarre material created from a mana generator stone, giving it the ability to absorb and alter mana. Alice is stunned since it looks like it was practically made for demons, and she can't figure out why Kuji has something so rare. He dodges the question and asks for her name instead. She introduces herself as Alice Valnesio. The two head to the city of Valmon, where Alice experiences a human town for the very first time. Seeing how kind everyone is completely shatters her expectations. She also starts to understand the true value of money after Kuji explains just how expensive the medicine really is. He promises to buy it and personally escort her all the way to the Demon King's castle in exchange for a reward somewhere down the line. Later, they check into an inn. Kuji tells Alice he's heading out for a bit to get the medicine and recruit a few companions to help with the dangerous journey, leaving her alone in the room. Not long after, someone knocks on the door. Thinking Koji is back already, she opens it, only to find a complete stranger standing there. The shock instantly makes her pass out. When she finally wakes up, Koji introduces her to Tanako, a level 124 monk. He used to hate demons with a passion, but everything changed after one of them saved his life. Since then, he's completely switched sides and has decided to join the group to protect Alice. To Alice's surprise, Tanako isn't a guy at all, but a woman. Kuji casually explains that she used to have a pretty massive chest, but trained so insanely hard that she literally burned all that fat into muscle. Yeah, she's built different. Figuring Alice could use a chance to unwind, Tanako takes her to a nearby hot spring while they chat along the way. During the walk, she explains that monks are naturally about 3 times stronger than an average villager. Her class is built entirely around hand-to-hand combat, and every 100 levels they unlock a unique high-tier technique that only monks can learn. Even so, Tanako admits she'd never stand a chance against Kuji in a real fight. Ever since he was a little kid, he'd been throwing himself against monsters far stronger than him, risking his life every single day. By surviving countless near-death battles and slowly grinding his levels, he eventually became something that was way beyond normal. Alice quietly admits she's scared that one day someone else might reach level 999 and kill her father, the Demon King. Tanako smiles and reassures her that Kuji is probably the only person who could ever reach a level that absurd. She also hints that Kuji is missing something every other living creature in the world has, but refuses to explain what it is just yet, saying Alice will figure it out herself as they continue traveling together. The peaceful moment is cut short when dozens of level 54 blood buffaloes suddenly come crashing down onto the city from the sky. Moments later, a demon commander appears overhead, riding one of several gigantic birds, and loudly declares that the Demon King has officially begun humanity's extermination campaign. Koji doesn't waste even a second. Using nothing but raw strength, he grabs the falling blood buffaloes and hurls them straight into the giant birds, wiping out both the monsters and their airborne mounts with ridiculous ease. Watching from above, the demon commander is left completely speechless. The sheer power on display wasn't even remotely what he expected. At the same time, Rex fights desperately to protect the civilians, using flashy sword techniques to keep everyone's spirits up, but one of the buffaloes Kuji launched blasts right through Rex's attack, making his party assume Kuji is just showing off for the hell of it. Kuji immediately shuts that idea down, explaining that using overly destructive attacks inside a city is reckless. If a sword technique or spell misses its target, innocent people could easily get caught in the crossfire. Parna starts wondering if Kuji's monstrous physical strength comes at a cost. Maybe someone that insanely strong simply can't use magic. Meanwhile, Alice recognizes the demon leading the assault. She believes it's Minao, a member of a noble demon family that has faithfully served the Demon King for generations. Coral suggests everyone combine their strength and show the demon army what humanity is really capable of. Kuji disagrees. Revealing all of their trump cards this early would be a huge mistake. Before making a move, they need to figure out what the enemy's real objective is. Without another word, Kuji crouches down and launches himself high into the sky with an absurd leap. Tanako instantly follows, timing her own jump perfectly so she can give him one last mid-air boost, sending him even higher. Seconds later, Kuji reaches Minao face to face and casually introduces himself. "I'm just a random villager who happened to be passing by." The fight against Manu finally begins, but he's immediately hit with the shock of his life. None of his attacks can even scratch Kagami. The moment he realizes his opponent is level 999, Manu is convinced it's straight up impossible. No human should ever be able to reach a level like that. Instead of attacking, Kagami tries to calm him down. He explains that he personally knows both the Demon King and his daughter Alice. He's not on the demon's side, but he doesn't see them as his enemies either. Humans will always come first for him, but before fighting anyone, he wants to know one thing. Did the Demon King actually order the invasion? Menno thinks back to the declaration of war and remembers something strange. The Demon King never actually spoke. The royal advisor did all the talking while the king remained completely silent. That immediately makes Kagami suspicious. Maybe someone is pulling the strings behind the scenes. Just as Manu prepares to rush back to the castle and confirm his suspicions, Kagami casually one-shots every flying beast in the area, knocking them out of the sky one after another. Then he tells Manu not to return to the castle just yet. If someone really is controlling the Demon King, showing up now would basically be a speedrun to getting himself killed. Instead, Kagami suggests they pretend the demon army was simply defeated. Later, they'll sneak into the castle together and uncover the truth. Manu can't understand why Kagami is letting him live. Kagami simply shrugs. "Alice and the Demon King both trust you. That's good enough for me." He also explains that he believes the real conflict between humans and demons isn't caused by either race. It's the mana that constantly creates monsters, fueling hatred between both sides. Because of that, Kagami tells Manu to meet them again tomorrow. The plan is for all of them to infiltrate the Demon King's castle together. The next day, Kagami and Alice start figuring out how they're supposed to reach the castle. Regular horses are out of the question since they hate being anywhere near demonic mana. Instead, Kagami tells Alice they'll have to ride a very unique kind of centaur. The catch? These weird creatures only obey after getting whipped. Yeah, they're into that. The group reunites with Menu, who immediately kneels before Princess Alice and sincerely apologizes for attacking the city. Out of nowhere, Rex and his party reveal they've been secretly listening to the entire conversation. They instantly accuse Kagami of working with the demons. Kagami just looks at them like they're idiots. He points out how unbelievably stupid it is to pick a fight with someone way stronger than you. Then he tells them they're judging everything without knowing the full story. To prove his point, he uses Alice as an example, showing that not every demon is evil. He even makes Manu apologize to everyone and asks them to give him time to uncover who actually ordered the attack. Even though part of them starts thinking Kagami might actually have a point, they still don't trust him. so Kagami decides there's no point arguing anymore. He leaves with his group and heads off to find the centaurs. The ride turns out to be an absolute nightmare. Every time they're whipped, the centaurs get way too excited and start running even faster, making the entire trip awkward as hell. Their first stop is the city of Salmaria. The place is in the middle of a huge festival celebrating what everyone believes was a glorious victory over the Demon King's invading army. Kagami thinks the whole celebration is honestly kind of ridiculous. If the Demon King had actually sent his strongest forces, there wouldn't even be a city left to celebrate in. That's why he believes sneaking into the castle before another war breaks out is their best option. If the Demon King is still the same ruler who wanted peace, they'll help him. If he's truly planning to wipe out humanity, Kagami will stop him himself. And if there's some third option nobody's seeing yet, he'll build an army where humans and demons can finally live together. After hearing that, everyone decides to follow Kagami's plan. Even Menno pledges his loyalty, saying he'll follow Princess Alice wherever she chooses to go. Later that evening, Kagami decides to treat Alice to dinner. But the second they step inside a restaurant, they run straight into Rex's party. Without wasting another second, Kagami immediately turns around and makes a run for it. Unfortunately, before they can get away, a gigantic demon suddenly crashes down from the sky right in the middle of the city. Seconds later, countless more monsters begin raining down over the festival, throwing the entire city into absolute chaos once again. Kagami decides to stop the conflict on his own. At the same time, the heroes argue over whether he's actually become their enemy. Parna is convinced he has, pointing out that they already saw him working alongside demons. Kurl refuses to believe it. She remembers that Kagami never tried to hurt them or force his ideals on anyone, even when they were the ones attacking him. The argument is cut short when everyone rushes out to defend the city. During the battle, Kurl is only moments away from being killed when Kagami suddenly appears and one-shots a level 200+ demon with a single punch. The heroes are completely stunned, unable to understand how someone could defeat a monster that powerful using nothing but a basic attack. Moments later, Alice arrives and quietly hides behind Kagami. Not long after, the defenders receive even worse news. A horde of 10,000 demons is marching straight toward the city. Rex suggests pulling everyone back instead of sacrificing countless lives in a hopeless fight. But Kagami chooses to warn his own companions first. Before leaving, he entrusts Alice to the heroes. Although Parna still doesn't trust her, Kagami reminds them that he would have never left Alice there if he believed she was in danger. Alice shows complete faith in Kagami, and Kurl promises she'll keep her safe. When Kagami's companions finally arrive, they immediately misunderstand the situation and assume the heroes have captured Alice. Before the tension can explode, the misunderstanding is cleared up. Right after that, a city guard reports that a single man is holding back the entire demon army by himself. Everyone rushes to the battlefield. To nobody's surprise, that lone warrior is Kagami. Watching him fight alone, they finally realize what he's been trying to accomplish all along. He's protecting both humans and demons. If the city falls, the hatred between both races will only grow stronger, making peace almost impossible. Kagami keeps fighting without caring about his own safety, having long since stopped fearing death. Rex can't understand what could drive someone to risk everything like that. That's when Takako reveals Kagami's past. Back when he was just an ordinary villager, a monster killed his father. Because the villager class was incredibly weak, Kagami was forced to risk his life every single day, slowly becoming stronger until he was finally able to avenge him. During that journey, he discovered that while villagers die more easily than almost any other class, they also gain levels at an absurdly fast rate. Soon after, another tragedy struck. Human bandits attacked his village and murdered his mother. That was the moment Kagami realized that monsters weren't the only source of evil. Humans were just as capable of committing horrific crimes. After hearing his story, Kurl finally understands that Kagami's determination comes from something far deeper than anyone had imagined. Wanting to learn the answer he's been searching for, she convinces the other heroes to fight alongside him instead of against him. At the same time, Kagami's own companions rush to reinforce him. When they finally reach the battlefield, Kagami is completely exhausted. Seeing everyone standing beside him catches him off guard. He accepts their help under a single condition: no one is allowed to die. At that moment, Kagami realizes he isn't fighting alone anymore. For the first time in a long while, he has people he can truly trust fighting by his side. Kagami quickly realizes the flying monsters are becoming a massive pain in the ass, so he comes up with a strategy on the fly. He simply explains that he needs to combine his physical strength with their magic to take down the enemies in the sky. The plan actually works, but it also makes one thing painfully obvious. Kagami still has no clue how to properly fight as part of a team and mostly just wings it every chance he gets. Meanwhile, Takako goes absolutely crazy on the battlefield, smashing monsters with nothing but her bare fists. Her insane strength leaves Rex completely speechless. Watching her casually fold enemies makes him feel more than a little jealous. After an exhausting fight, everyone is running on fumes, yet the endless horde just keeps coming. Kagami suggests falling back before someone dies, but Takako immediately sees through him. She knows he's planning to stay behind and fight alone, fully prepared to sacrifice himself if that's what it takes to save everyone else. Right then, Alice shows up with the biggest clutch imaginable. She somehow managed to rally every adventurer in Salmaria to help defend the city. Kagami can't believe she actually pulled it off. At first, nobody wanted to throw themselves against an army that huge, but after watching Kagami and his group keep fighting completely alone without giving up, everyone else finally found the courage to join the battle. Rex is just as inspired. Seeing an ordinary villager class motivate so many seasoned warriors completely changes the way he sees Kagami, and he silently vows to become someone who can inspire people the same way someday. Kagami thanks Alice for refusing to give up. Even though she's a demon, she managed to unite humans and adventurers simply because she wanted to save people. Now that his friends aren't in immediate danger anymore, he finally stops holding back. Rex eventually collapses from exhaustion. The others try giving him another potion, but he's already chugged so many that they've stopped working altogether. Even then, he refuses to leave the battlefield. As a hero, he believes retreating would be nothing short of disgraceful. Watching Kagami fight non-stop, Rex can't understand how the guy never seems to run out of energy. That's when Kagami's teammates explain that he has an auto-recovery skill that restores his stamina every time he sleeps. Rex finally realizes Kagami's greatest strength isn't just his broken abilities, it's the absolute trust he places in the people fighting beside him. While everyone else catches their breath, Parna sees an opportunity to kill the weakened Manao. Before she can act, Takako stops her, insisting they hear Kagami out first instead of rushing into another pointless fight. Then the entire battlefield shakes. A massive earthquake tears through the area, and when everyone looks up, they're greeted by an absolutely colossal creature. Nobody recognizes it, not even Menno, despite serving the Demon King himself. Takako urges everyone to retreat immediately, but Kagami keeps his cool and charges straight at the giant without hesitating. Oh, it doesn't matter. His attack accomplishes absolutely nothing. Watching him get swatted aside so effortlessly convinces everyone that even the strongest warrior has finally met something he can't beat. Alice immediately rushes over with a healing potion. Kagami gets annoyed that she'd risk running onto the battlefield, but she refuses to abandon him while everyone else is still risking their lives. Kagami notices she's trying way too hard to act brave, even though she's terrified. Before the moment can settle, Kurul finally snaps, calling Kagami out for constantly pushing himself too far and pointing out that Alice has been suffering because of the reckless way he keeps throwing himself into danger. At that moment, a demon named Esteller finally arrives. He immediately understands why the invasion has been delayed for so long. At first, he assumed the hero was responsible. Now he realizes the real problem has been Kagami all along. He also discovers that Menao, whom everyone believed had disappeared, has actually remained by Alice's side as one of the Demon King's most loyal servants. Menao reveals that Esteller has served as the Demon King's right-hand man for years and is considered the second strongest demon in the entire world. After recovering thanks to Alice's potion, Kagami throws himself back into the fight. Menao reveals that despite being nothing more than a villager, Kagami has somehow reached level 999. Esteller couldn't care less. As far as he's concerned, a villager class will never surpass the world's superior classes. He believes Kagami has already reached the absolute ceiling of what someone like him can achieve, and that the giant monster will eventually crush him without much trouble. The battle proves otherwise. Even while taking devastating hits, Kagami survives by chaining together newly unlocked defensive skills that drastically reduce the damage. Esteller calmly explains that his mission was never to wipe out humanity. His only objective is destroying Salmaria, and as long as Kagami stops interfering, he has no reason to kill him. That's when the truth finally comes out. The Demon King never wanted this war. Esteller himself drugged him, sealed him inside the giant monster, and has been using his overwhelming power as nothing more than a living battery. Kagami dives right back into the fight. At first, he can't even scratch the monster, but little by little, his speed keeps climbing. While lying battered on the ground, the others ask why he's so obsessed with saving both humans and demons. Kagami explains that ever since he was a kid, he believed the world's class and level system was complete BS. A monster took his father. A human took his mother. That's when he realized evil isn't tied to race. Humans and demons alike are trapped inside roles forced onto them by the world itself. He even points to Rex as proof, a guy who spent his entire life acting like the perfect hero simply because his class told him that's who he was supposed to be. Kagami believes everyone deserves the freedom to choose who they want to become. When he finally reached level 999, he fell into complete despair, convinced he'd already hit the absolute limit of his growth. Instead, reaching the cap unlocked a hidden skill called the One Who Defied God. The ability completely shatters every growth limit imposed on him. That's when Kagami realized someone had created the rules governing this world. From that moment on, he swore he'd find whoever made this broken system and force them to answer for condemning everyone to live under a fate they never chose. Determined to end everything, Kagami finally activates the one technique he'd been avoiding this entire time. The skill temporarily doubles every ounce of his power. The downside is brutal. Once it's over, his body will be completely paralyzed for a while. He doesn't hesitate for even a second. Putting everything he has into one final punch, Kagami obliterates the giant monster and frees the Demon King trapped inside its body. The Demon King wakes up completely confused and sincerely thanks everyone for saving him. Parna insists this is the perfect chance to finish him off once and for all. But after everything they've been through, nobody has enough strength left to keep fighting. That's when Esteller steps in once again. Using his magic, he immobilizes the Demon King and calmly explains that he's simply fulfilling the role this world assigned to him. Before vanishing into another dimension alongside the Demon King, he leaves Kagami with one final challenge. If Kagami truly wants to discover the creator of this world, he'll first need to obtain a mysterious nameless item sold at adventurers' guilds. Esteller gives him exactly 1 year. If Kagami fails, the Demon King will once again be turned into a weapon, and the war will begin all over again. After the demons disappear, everyone is left completely stunned. Then Kagami casually drops the most random plan imaginable. To get the money he'll need for what's coming next, he's going to open a freaking casino. 2 months after the Salmaria incident, Kagami gathers everyone to remind them they only have 10 months left to fulfill the deal imposed by the demon. Their casino is finally set to open in just 2 weeks, but there's still a ton of stuff left to figure out. everyone does their best to lighten the mood, and little by little the tension starts to fade. For Alice, it's honestly heartwarming to see humans and demons working side by side without judging each other. Parna, however, decides to leave the group. She insists her only reason for joining was to defeat the Demon King, and now she doesn't see any point in sticking around. Rex goes in the exact opposite direction. He admits he always believed that, as the hero, he was forced to live according to the destiny his class had chosen for him, but after meeting Kagami, he finally realizes that classes and titles don't define a person's worth. Because of that, he chooses to stay and keep fighting alongside his new friends instead. A few days later, the group starts looking for employees to work at the casino, but almost nobody seems interested. During their search, Alice accidentally bumps into a man named David Forlan, a level 77 merchant who claims to work directly for the royal family. Kagami instantly gets suspicious and straight up yells that the guy's a pervert, hoping someone will drag him away before he causes trouble. Alice tries to clear up the misunderstanding, but David somehow manages to make things even worse. The moment he sees Karul, he starts shamelessly hyping up her beauty, going so overboard that he even says he'd love to lick her. Once the awkwardness dies down, David explains that the king sent him to verify reports claiming Karul had abandoned her mission just to settle down in some tiny village. Karul calmly tells him she's still training to defeat the Demon King and that they're only gathering money to buy better equipment. David accepts the explanation, but says he'll be keeping an eye on them for an entire month just to make sure they're telling the truth. Despite Kagami's non-stop suspicion, David turns out to be insanely good at organizing things. He designs clear, eye-catching advertisements that attract tons of applicants for the casino. His skills are so impressive that Takako slowly starts catching feelings for him, while Kagami still refuses to trust the guy, convinced he's hiding something. With only 2 days left before opening, the group heads to the Cave of Trials for one last training session. Kagami explains that the stronger a monster is, the more money it drops when defeated. That reminds Alice of an old legend about a creature said to be just as powerful as the Demon King, making her wonder how much cash someone would get for taking that thing down. Later, Kagami thanks David for everything he's done to help with the casino. David humbly gives all the credit to Takako's hard work, completely unaware that she's actually a woman. Alice casually drops that little bombshell, revealing he'd been flirting with her the entire time without realizing it. Absolutely cooked. During training, Rex grows curious about Kagami's secret abilities. To demonstrate, Kagami effortlessly wipes out several monsters by flicking ordinary rocks with nothing but his fingers. He explains that most of his skills are actually built around boosting that ridiculously simple technique. At the same time, he reveals the downside of his class. The higher his level climbs, the less he's able to rely on powerful spells and flashy abilities. Kagami admits those limitations nearly drove him insane once he reached the highest levels, but in the end, he never depended much on magic anyway. Instead of complaining about it, he encourages Rex, convinced that as the hero, he'll eventually unlock abilities that are way more broken than anything Kagami has. Takako rounds everyone up because she needs to ask David for a favor. The casino's grand opening is just around the corner, but they're still missing one crucial thing: alcohol. David immediately comes up with a solution. A noble friend of his is transporting a massive shipment of liquor in a nearby carriage, so they could simply negotiate a deal and stock up before opening day. Thanks to that idea, the last major problem gets solved, and the long-awaited grand opening finally arrives. After weeks of grinding, the casino officially opens for business. Kagami is honestly blown away when he realizes the place is making way more money than farming monsters ever could. While wandering around the building looking for Takako, he accidentally opens a suspicious room and finds a bunch of absolutely jacked dudes flexing their biceps in front of her. Meanwhile, Rex is working as one of the waiters, and Tina has somehow built an entire chapel where gamblers can confess their sins after blowing all their money at the tables. The atmosphere is lively, and the casino seems to be thriving. During the celebration, David tells Kurl he's noticed how much she's changed since joining Kagami's group. Alice also thanks Kurl for always making her feel safe and admits she trusts her completely. A little later, David leaves the casino but accidentally forgets his gloves. Alice grabs them and runs after him, only to trip before she can catch up. David catches her before she hits the ground, but in the process he accidentally knocks off the ribbon hiding her horns, revealing that she's actually a demon. Surprisingly, he doesn't freak out. He calmly puts the ribbon back where it belongs, acts like nothing happened, takes his gloves, and walks away without exposing her secret. When Alice returns, Minao is visibly on edge. He reveals that he saw David meeting with a royal official and suspects David's real mission isn't keeping an eye on Kurl at all. It's monitoring Alice. Even so, Alice defends him, pointing out that after discovering her true identity, he chose to keep it a secret instead of turning her in. Kagami isn't convinced. He decides David is still suspicious as hell, but instead of confronting him, chooses to quietly keep an eye on him for now. A week later, while visiting the library, Parna is reminded of her childhood. Back then, she met a young researcher named Adolvel who truly believed humans and demons could live together in peace. After spending years earning the demon's trust, he finally organized a cultural exchange where both races would meet face to face. The day it was supposed to happen, the demons betrayed him and murdered him. That single moment shattered everything. Ever since then, Parna has sworn revenge against every demon she can find, and because Kagami insists on protecting them, part of that hatred has started spilling over onto him as well. As more days pass, the casino's profits suddenly begin dropping. Looking for a way to turn things around, Alice suggests taking down the legendary Dark Dragon, whose bounty is worth an insane amount of money. Kagami brings the idea to Minao, but Minao immediately warns him that the dragon is far more dangerous than any official record claims. Even after hearing all the warnings, Kagami decides to go anyway. It's the only way they can earn enough money before their deadline runs out. As Kagami and Minao set off, Alice stays behind to wait for his return. Not wanting to feel useless while he's gone, she asks Kurl to teach her how to use magic. Kurl begins training Alice to use magic, but quickly discovers that she can't even manifest it. She explains that Alice needs to clearly visualize the spell and control the flow of mana throughout her body. David recommends that she focus on mastering a single type of magic first, so Alice chooses healing magic because she wants to help people who are suffering. The good news is that the casino is doing better and better thanks to David and Takako, who handle most of the business operations, giving Alice and Kurl plenty of time to practice magic. Alice later talks to David in private and asks why he never revealed that she was a demon. David explains that at first he believed humans and demons could never coexist, but meeting Alice completely changed his mind. To him, Alice isn't just a demon, she's a genuinely kind and honest person, and he has no intention of treating her any differently because of what she is. Meanwhile, Kagami and Minao continue searching for the Dark Dragon. Since nobody knows where it is located, they suspect it might be underground. Kagami starts pounding the ground until he discovers a hidden area beneath them. Using his limit break ability, he manages to open an entrance leading into a strange dungeon. Inside, they easily defeat the monsters, but they soon notice something seriously weird. They can only move straight ahead, and every path eventually leads to another staircase going deeper underground. After 6 days, neither of them feels hungry, thirsty, or even tired. Back at the casino, Alice makes incredible progress and manages to master healing, fire, and explosion magic. After a long day of training, they go out to eat at a restaurant, but Rex suddenly shows up looking desperate and warns them that they need to leave immediately. Then Parna appears. Alice is thrilled to see her and rushes over to hug her, but Parna deliberately tears away the ribbon hiding Alice's horns, publicly revealing that she's a demon. Guards immediately arrive alongside Duke Militaria Remote, the king's right-hand man. The Duke accuses David of falsifying his reports and working together with demons. He also suspects that Rex and the others have been manipulated. David admits that he lied because he wanted to protect Alice and because he had seen Kurl finally regain the smile she had lost. Suddenly, Takako creates a massive explosion to give everyone a chance to escape, but the Duke instantly drains her strength with a special ability. Realizing there's no other option, David decides to stay behind and hold them off so the others can get away. Meanwhile, Kagami and Manao finally reach the 100th floor of the dungeon. There are no more stairs. Instead, they find a gigantic hole that seems to stretch endlessly into the darkness. Kagami realizes that a powerful magic is blocking both light and sound, concealing what lies at the bottom. After breaking through it, the two finally reach an enormous chamber. Waiting for them inside is the legendary Dark Dragon. The creature welcomes them and congratulates them for making it all the way to him. The Dark Dragon explains that he is one of the singularities, beings responsible for overseeing and maintaining the world's system. He warns them that he is even stronger than the Demon King, although Menao doubts him since he can't sense any mana coming from the dragon. The creature explains that his role is to nurture and encourage powerful beings by opening the dungeon's gates to them. Since Kagami doesn't have the 10,000 gold coin item, he has to bullshit his way through it. He claims that he defeated the Demon King with a single punch and brainwashed Menao into helping him. He also has to lie about Menao being under his control because Menao is a demon. The dragon actually believes the story because he hasn't sensed the Demon King's presence for the past 3 months. Kagami immediately suspects that Estelar must have something to do with it, but Dragon then offers Kagami a wish, but first tells him he has to choose between 2 options. The first is to advance to the next stage, where an even more difficult challenge awaits him, one unlike anything he has ever faced before. The second is to return to the surface. As another option, the dragon offers to cure the fatigue of Kagami's soul by erasing his memories of the journey and resetting the entire world. The Demon King would be revived. The demons would be recreated according to the laws of the world system, and humanity would continue unchanged. Kagami is pissed when he realizes what that actually means. The system would erase the demons' individuality and reduce them to nothing more than resources for humans to use as training material. He refuses to accept that bullshit and decides to challenge the gods themselves in order to protect them. Without hesitation, Kagami punches the dragon, demonstrating overwhelming power. The dragon responds with a devastating blast of energy, but Kagami is ridiculously fast. Since he doesn't emit any mana, his movements are impossible to predict, and he even manages to reflect the dragon's attacks back at him. The dragon assumes Kagami must have recently leveled up, but Kagami reveals the truth. He's just an ordinary villager who reached level 999 a long time ago, and his unique ability allows him to surpass his own limits. The Dark Dragon can't believe what he's seeing. Suddenly, Estelar appears through a portal and reveals to the dragon that the Demon King is still alive. He explains that he got tired of waiting for someone to reset the world, so 3 months ago, he activated Messiah to speed up the process and guide Kagami along the way. However, Kagami's strength ended up being way beyond anything he could have expected. The dragon is confused because Kagami doesn't possess the 10,000 gold coin item and clearly never defeated the Demon King. Estelar casually explains that the guy literally punched his way through the dungeon walls until he reached this place. At this point, Kagami is completely fed up with the whole situation. He refuses to advance to the next stage and demands to return to the surface without resetting the world. He explains that his true goal is to destroy the world reset system entirely, but first he needs to return to the surface and somehow earn the 10,000 gold coins so he can come back here. He also demands that the Demon King be returned to him, since the Demon King is a crucial part of his plan and Kagami clearly has something cooking. He agrees that if he fails to gather the money within the agreed time limit, Estelar can start a war if he wants. The dragon laughs and advises Estelar to accept the deal. Estelar finally hands over the unconscious Demon King and tells Kagami that he has high hopes for him. He then sends Kagami and Manao back to the surface. As they disappear, the dark dragon speaks to Kagami telepathically, assuring him that he'll be waiting for his return and that he believes Kagami has the potential to become a true champion of the world. The Demon King finally wakes up, and Kagami explains that he wrapped a cloth around his horns to hide his power as the Demon King. Menao is relieved to see that he's finally conscious. Kagami asks for his help just as his friends arrive with Alice, who gets to reunite with her father after being apart from him for so long. They still need to raise enough money, but Kagami first wants to know what happened at the casino. That's when he learns that Alice was exposed as a demon and that David helped the others escape. Apparently, Parna is the one who caused this whole mess, while Rex and Kurl are most likely being held prisoner inside the castle in the capital. Despite how serious the situation is, Kagami decides to head straight for the capital. In his mind, giving up or sitting around complaining won't fix a damn thing. If something isn't completely impossible, then it's still worth trying. His top priority is rescuing Rex and Kurl. His plan is to have the Demon King propose a ceasefire. If it works, their friends might be released. If it fails, Kagami is ready to fight. But his real goal is bigger than that. He wants to prove to the entire world that even the Demon King is willing to put an end to the war. David, who is seriously injured, shows up and warns them that their chances of pulling this off are extremely low. After getting some healing, he explains that he suspects the king deliberately allowed him to escape. He also reveals something far more painful about Kurl. When she was a child, she was kind-hearted and genuinely cared about other people, but her father decided to turn her into a warrior whose destiny was to defeat the Demon King. He forced her to train by fighting monsters even though she never wanted to fight, and eventually all that suffering completely destroyed her smile. He also used similar powers to manipulate talented adventurers. David decided to help Kagami because he recognized the same smile in Kurl that she had lost long ago. Kagami assures him that Kurl is his companion and that what happened to her is another consequence of the way this world itself operates. That only makes him even more determined to change it. With insane speed, Kagami takes off toward the capital alone, leaving everyone else behind. The others know Kagami is heading for Hexaldria's capital, so they follow after him. When they arrive, they see Kagami already approaching the castle by himself. The guards try to stop him, but he effortlessly takes their spears away and demands to see Rex and Kurl. More soldiers rush in, and Kagami's friends step up to help him, making sure not to kill anyone. Then the Demon King decides it's time to show the enemy what absolute power looks like. Since they're already being treated as enemies anyway, he reveals his horns and releases an overwhelming amount of energy, completely terrifying the guards. With the path finally clear, Kagami and the others continue deeper into the castle, fully determined to rescue their friends.